So, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to get into a very exciting module because footballers have their football boots, superheroes have their actually I don't know what superhero, I guess they have their capes. They're like, point is, like, people have their trinkets. Like, people have the things that they get very excited about. And in our industry, we don't have like, we're not like, and I'll get into this in just a second, we're not like chefs where we have our specific knives, or like, artists where we have like our specific guitar we use or specific drumsticks we use. Like, for us, our tool, the thing that we use to create magic, is software, right? Like, these are the tools that are in our arsenal, and this is what we need to be really picky about and also take a lot of pride in, because as I said, this is like when we charge out into this industry and when we really make a dent in this industry, this is the thing that we're going to use to do so. So in today's module, we're going to be talking about a craftsman's tools. Over the difference between an expense and an investment. We're going to go over the best website/funnel builder, recommended communication software, recommended invoicing software, recommended project management software, recommended contract software, screen recording software, as well as the best microphone option. Now, the first thing to discuss is investment versus expense. Now, before I get into recommendations, it is super important that you remember that there's a difference between an investment and an expense. And I know for some of you guys, you might be a little bit frustrated that, there is some running cost to, having an agency. And in all fairness, I'm going to show you many, many options, and there's always many options out there. So that way you can do it in the most cost-effective way. Also, don't be frustrated, because you can start off with something a little bit cheaper that obviously isn't as good for either you or your clients. And you can upgrade as time goes on. And the other beautiful part is some of these tools you may not necessarily need from day one when all you're doing is outreach. Okay. So in today's module, I'm going to give you, the A1, the best of the best for that category. But then I'm also going to try to give you some cheap alternatives or even some free alternatives if that's the case. And also remember, I've done a full cost analysis on these, right? So I haven't recommended anything here that I genuinely don't think gives you incredible bang for your buck. And really, as I said, some of these you might not necessarily need from day one. Some of these tools may only be valid or useful to you once you either sign a client, or conversely, once you start doing outreach, or once you start getting some meetings. Maybe then you go, okay, I actually need kind of my ducks in a row. But I'll explain all of this in this module anyways. The final thing to bear in mind is the fact that if you told most business owners out there that your only costs you need, and by the way, this is not you being cheap or anything like that. Like, if you had the best software stack you can have, and I'm going to show you what that is, you'd be spending $150, $200 a month. They would laugh at you. Like, you need to understand that for most businesses, their fixed cost just to be able to serve their customers is $20, $50, $100,000 a month. So look, yes, we're being streamlined. We're being very resourceful here with this business model, but as I said, just bear in mind the fact that the best of the best, right? If you're working with the best tools money can buy, you're still only spending like $200 a month. Like, it's actually, it's kind of laughable how cheap it is to run this business. So let's get into it. So real quick, I have just gone ahead and pulled up the agency software stack plug and play. Obviously, this is available inside the portal. So really just to iterate the things to bear in mind here. Now, so starting off, the best website/funnel builder is ClickFunnels. All right, this is $100 a month after a full 14-day free trial that's available exclusively through this link. You can go ahead and press this and it'll open up the 14-day free trial option with ClickFunnels, as you can see. So when to actually start using this thing, sign up now. This tool is a game changer because I literally get to give you half of my agency for you to copy and paste using the funnel links. Okay, so you're going to see that, I believe, in the next module. I'm giving you guys 20 website templates and 5 onboarding funnels that are exclusively available via ClickFunnels. So as I said, if you want to get started with your 14-day free trial, just go ahead and click there. Now look, ladies and gentlemen, I understand that ClickFunnels, it's actually going to be the most expensive software that I recommend here at $100 a month. And I was literally chatting with my team at the agency for months and months, and we were, figuring out alternatives because with a lot of our clients, we use Webflow. We were looking at Wix. Wix was a good option, but the issue with Wix is we couldn't actually share any of our funnels, right? We couldn't share any of the website templates, any of the funnels, any of the booking pages, et cetera, et cetera. And the issue with Webflow is it is extremely, extremely difficult to use. And then it also came down to the decision of like, what do we use at our own agency? And if you guys go check the IG Media website, we actually use ClickFunnels. We use ClickFunnels with some custom coding, but That's what we use. ClickFunnels for all of our case study funnel that we drive all the traffic to. That's done with ClickFunnels. Our booking page, our confirmation page, even when I do rounds of hiring, we still build out ClickFunnels funnels, and we just have the IG Media domain. So at the end of the day, for me, I'm always making sure that I recommend what I personally use, and ClickFunnels is that. So I know that $100 a month for some of you guys may be a lot to stomach, but this tool is just so immensely powerful. I was tossing and turning of ways that I could replace it, but I hate to say it, but for me and my agency, ClickFunnels really is one of those irreplaceable tools. Now, the next tool you're going to need is for communication. Now, for communication, obviously, I use my own software that I built with my business partner, Agency Flow. And, I'll give you a couple of reasons here why. And, Agency Flow actually covers a full spectrum of what you need as an agency owner. It's basically why, me and my business partner spent years building it out. Now, in terms of alternative, you can use Slack. So it'll be between $20 to $60 per month to manage 3 to 5 clients, as well as your contractors, et cetera, et cetera. The fee for Agency Flow is $49 per month with unlimited clients and also all of the features that Agency Flow includes. So it's basically 3 team members, you plus 2 contractors, and unlimited clients. Severity, 10 out of 10. Okay, from day one, Agency Flow will allow you to communicate seamlessly with all your clients and contractors, both on desktop and mobile, including voice notes and GIFs natively. So once you've created an account, start creating projects to manage all internal tasks with your team. After creating projects, it's time to take care of all aspects of your client's workflow. Simply create a client inside the platform and invite them and their team to start collaborating. You'll be able to manage all of your communication and tasks to make sure that you're always up to date and never miss messages from your clients again. So let me actually go ahead and show you what that looks like. So you can see right here, it's broken down into new. So these will be your new messages. You've got projects. Now, a project, and there's going to be a lot of training on this in phase 3. So don't worry if it seems a little confusing right now. The bulk of the training is coming in phase 3. So project is, for example, it could be something internal. A project may even be creating a new agency website. So you'll create a project and it might have a timeline on it. And as I said, I'll show you all this in phase 3 in detail. But it may have a timeline on it that you need to do in 2 weeks. So the chat for this project is just, anything pertaining to that specific project. Now, another project may be outreach, right? And maybe you go through this program and you end up hiring an appointment setter. Well, then the project is just appointment setting, right? And that's an ongoing project. So this is kind of really what this chat is, a container for that project. And then here you'll have all your clients, right? And they'll be in the client section. And you can see up here, you'll have all your clients and you'll create them. And I'll show you how to do this all later. And then direct is obviously a direct message with anyone. Now, this is a demo account, so I haven't imported in my clients and my team and stuff like that. But you can see right here, the messages, you can reply to a message as such, and it comes down here. Obviously, you can type in your message as such. You've got emojis. You've got GIFs natively. You can go ahead and attach files. A big one is you can actually send voice notes. I mean, wow. You would think that after years and years, Slack would think about this. But yeah, that is a massive, massive feature, to be on the run and, just respond via voice note to your client to something that's really quick. Like I've had it so many times where I get something from a client and, it's like typing out on your phone or even just typing out on your computer what could have been said with so much more character, emotion, rapport, trust, like in 45 seconds. Like voice notes are just great, right? If you want everything documented, maybe they're not. And you have to pick and choose when you use them. But if you're already, working with a client and they just have a quick question, like just voice notes are the best, right? But then, you definitely don't want to be using WhatsApp because you want to separate your personal life and your work life, okay? And you want to, have different platforms for the two. So, this is a little bit about the communication. So, ladies and gentlemen, remember, I'm going to go in detail as to how often you should communicate with your clients, the best way to communicate with your clients, the best way to have structure to it, the best way to make sure that, clients don't bother you 24/7 on 101 different platforms. And as I said, Agency Flow makes sure of that. But for now, this is really just a little bit about the functionality. So the next tool you're going to need is for invoicing. Now, in terms of alternatives, you can use simple invoices, $10 a month. But if you're already paying for Agency Flow, which I know 99% of you will, then it's already free. It's a tool within there. Severity, 10 out of 10. Now, when you sign your first client, your Agency Flow account should already be set up and Stripe hooked up. And I'll go ahead and show you guys how to do all that. So don't worry about that. So you don't have to mess around with setting anything else. You can send the invoice and get paid on the spot. So when you go ahead, you'll come up here to the invoices section and you go ahead, you'll choose single invoice or you'll choose retainer, right? And when you choose retainer, then obviously you go ahead and you choose your schedule, your start date, end date. You might not even have an end date, and you can go ahead and make sure that that's the case as well. But in this situation, we're just going to go ahead and select a single invoice. You can go ahead and pick your currency. You have your client name, their email, and then we're also adding one for address, invoice from. You'll have your service description, quantity, price, total. You might want to add any other notes here, discount, sales tax, and all of that will reflect on their invoice. So that's pretty much how you go ahead and send an invoice. As I said, in phase 3, I'll go in detail. I'll show you what it looks like on their side, how we actually have the card on file, how we take it, the whole shebang. For now, I'm just giving you a high-level view of what this stuff looks like. Next thing is project management. And once again, Agency Flow, this is a big tool of it. Now, alternative, you can use Asana. It'll be around $30 a month for you plus your contractor. But as I said, you're already paying a measly $49 a month for Agency Flow for you, plus 2 contractors and unlimited clients. So once you have clients, a contractor, or both on board, it's time to commit to project management. So Agency Flow has you covered with a simple to use interface that links to each client directly. So I'll go ahead and show you how we actually do project management at our agency using Agency Flow, because the cool thing is, because there's these containers of projects and clients, within a client's dashboard, you have communication, you have tasks, you have media, you have files, you have the whole thing, right? So when you're working and you're communicating with a client and something pops up, a task, straight away, you don't need to have Asana open and Slack open and all 101 different tools open. You can just go ahead and you can assign it to a member of your team there and then. Okay, but as I said, a lot of training, coming out on that very, very shortly. In terms of contracts, we're going to use HelloSign. Okay. Alternative is you can manually send clients the contract. They sign it, scan it, and then you sign it and scan as well. But that's an absolute nightmare. HelloSign, I think it's $15 a month, and it's available right there. You can use HelloSign. You can use DocuSign. I think PandaDoc is another one, but I just personally use HelloSign. Honestly, they all pretty much roughly do the same thing. Severity, 8 out of 10. Now, when you're about to sign your first client, sign up to the service ASAP and make sure you throw it into your onboarding module. More on this later. Next thing is screen sharing plus recording. Okay, so this is Loom Pro. Now, you can just use Loom's free version. Now, when I recommend you use Loom Pro, once you get to 100 recorded videos and you want a backlog of all of them stored, Loom Pro allows you the app that lets you record 4K and HD screen capture as well. And as I said, it also stores more than 100 videos, which is all you get with the basic version. So how to use the tool, relatively self-explanatory. And as I said, the Pro version is $10 a month. Next is Vimeo. Okay, it's free. You have 500 megabyte per week limit. So sign up once you shoot the website scheduling page video, and I'm going to show you how to do that whole thing and give you guys the full onboarding funnel. And when you have the full onboarding funnel, obviously you need to host that video somewhere. Now you could use YouTube, but I just think it doesn't look as slick as Vimeo. So go ahead and use Vimeo. Now I personally use Wistia at my agency, but it's just, once again, in terms of being cost effective. And by the way, guys, as I said, I'm very aware of where you guys are at, right? So I'm only recommending tools. I can make this software stack $1,000 a month because we actually spend that. But that doesn't necessarily mean this, that's the best bang for buck. So yes, is Wistia better than Vimeo in my opinion? 100%. And for us, it's worth it. At my scale of my agency, we're doing 6 and now almost multiple 6 figures a month profit. That makes sense. For you guys, Vimeo, and that's actually what I used for years myself anyways. Next thing is scheduling software, Calendly. Now, alternative is you can use Google Calendar, but with this option, you can allow someone to just book in a time automatically from your available slots. You actually have to ask them, what time works for you, et cetera, et cetera. So for me, I will say I think Calendly is a non-negotiable, especially for $8 a month. And when to actually start using it, once you start reaching out to clients, because you'll need a scheduling link for them to book in a time to speak with you. Now, in terms of how to use the software, important, there's some settings you need to make sure in place before you start using the software. So I'm going to go ahead and add a video right there so you can watch that. But here are the questions we use for discovery calls, okay? And we still use this at my agency. So when you have an event, right, and someone's booking in a discovery call, these are the questions that we have them run through. Next thing is Google Suite. Okay, $6 per month for the basic plan, and that's really all you need. Do not sign up to this now, okay, because in the next module, you would have already bought a domain, and that makes life easier to sign up to G Suite. So just wait for the next module, and I'm going to show you how to sign it, get a domain, and then with that domain, you can create a G Suite account. It's just a lot easier that way, basically. Next thing is online/remote call, Zoom. Okay. Now you can just use the free version. That is true, but it's got a 40-minute, I believe, max meeting length. So like imagine if you're on a sales call and it's like, oh, your free Zoom is running out. So, for me, I think it's a no-brainer at $15 a month, right? As I said, it would just be very embarrassing if you have a meeting end after 40 minutes, right? Or if you have a business partner, I think you're not allowed to have more than 2 people on the free version or something. So yeah, Zoom, I think it's I think no matter what business you're running these days, it's so heavily ingrained in the culture that, as I said, for me, it is a absolute must. So with that entire software stack, I think it comes out to something like $180, $190 a month. And I will say the biggest expense there is obviously ClickFunnels. That's, I think, of all the other ones, I think they're no-brainers. You don't even need to think about it. Agency Flow has you covered with invoicing, communication, as well as project management. And that's the V1. The V2, 3 is going to do way, way more than that. Zoom, Loom Pro, like these are, to me, just no-brainer ones. I guess the only one you need to think about is ClickFunnels. Now, as I said, in the next module, I'm going to give you guys 20, you heard that correctly, 20 website templates, right? And you're going to get 5 unique onboarding funnels. So we're giving you so much here. It's just a matter of, whether it's worth it for you. Now, I surveyed, we survey our students every single year. And I think something like 80% of you guys use ClickFunnels. So I also know that for you guys, it's a tool that you use in your arsenal, which is one of the biggest reasons why I continue to still recommend it, because I know that you guys find it very, very valuable. But for someone who's starting out brand new, if you have the time to click around and mess around with, Wix or different website builders, then maybe you can kind of piece together something that's similar-ish. So I think that's the big one out of that $180 where maybe you use it, maybe you don't. But as I said, for me, it's just take pride in it. As I said, footballers have their boots and chefs have their knives. In fact, I really wanted to just play this excerpt from, I think it's Business Insider, on why Japanese knives are so expensive. Because I think it's just like, it really just puts it into perspective that like what we're doing here is, at the end of the day, it's art. We're creating magic here. Like, take pride in the work that you do. And when you're doing the work that you do, you need the right tools to make it happen. So I'm going to go ahead and play that clip right here.
おそらくアーティストのライブでメインのギターがなんだとかっていう風になってもサブであったり、ギターテックがいたりしてやる人間っていうのは演奏する人間っていうのはそれに集中できる。でそれを高村さんが今してくれているっていうような感じですね。この切ったところから表面に光沢が出てる。でこれって切れない包丁でやったら全くこういうのは出てこない。
So you can quite clearly tell from that video, this is someone who is obsessed with their craft, which is why their tools are so important to them. And you need to be like this too. Remember, as I said, you need to take pride in the tools that you use, because at the end of the day, one of the biggest guiding pillars or principles that we use is the fact that whatever is best for the client, that is what we do. Like regardless, right? That is a principle that guides us through this entire journey. So these tools are all there to curate the best possible experience for our clients. Now, next thing that I want to talk about is audio. Now, free option is your computer, okay? So the computer you're using right now will have a native microphone in it, and you can continue to use this if you're on a tighter budget. Paid option, I recommend Blue Yetis. They're around $100. There's some other really good options these days. Like if you want to spend a little bit more, there's the Shure. The one I'm using right now is the Shure SM7B, but you have to hook that up to like a sound system, like a Scarlett interface. So the whole thing is like $500, and it's just a little like intense. For me, it's worth it, but I think they have a new one, the Shure. I'll get Tristan to pop up like some B-roll from YouTube on the screen or something, but the new version of the Shure, and I think that's like $250, but it's such ridiculously crisp audio, and you can put that on an arm. Or the good thing with this Blue Yeti, as I said, is you can also travel with it abroad. For me, when I travel, to bring this arm, which I actually do, when I'm traveling somewhere for more than like 3 weeks, I bring this arm and then this mic, and it's a lot. I still do it, but it's definitely quite intense. So the action step for today is I want you to sign up to the free trial or full version of each software. Get locked and loaded. Ladies and gentlemen, that is pretty much it for today's module. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I'll catch you in the next one.